welcome to iasorigin. So today we will be talking about one of the important topics on which a Supreme Court has given its verdict, and it is none other than electoral bonds. Yes, Supreme Court has reserved the verdict that was challenging the electoral bond scheme. Time and again, various petitions have been raised before the court about the opacity of the electoral bond, and this was challenged, and the Supreme Court has given its verdict. It ordered to submit data on the donations received by the political party. It said that opacity should be maintained, but the data regarding who has donated the fund should be with the Election Commission of India, and it should be made available as and when asked to submit the data. Because this has become one of the important topics, because if we talk about the statistics, around 66% of the political funding anonymously aati hai. Anonymous funding. We do not know as to who is donating to these parties, because electoral bonds do donate, because electoral bonds are given on an anonymous basis. We do not know as to who donated the amount. Now, when this major chunk is coming from the unknown source, so here the election process is getting hampered. Coming from unknown source, the election process is getting hampered, because this way there can be a twist and turn in the actual election, and this is doing away with the transparency of a democracy like India. So today in this video, we will be discussing in detail about the electoral bonds. But before starting on to our topic, I would like to tell you that you can enroll with iasorigin for prelims cum mains program, where you'll get live classes, one-to-one mentorship session, unlimited recorded access, and a personalized timetable based on your needs. So let's talk what are electoral bonds. It was introduced in 2017. 2017 में एक bill pass किया गया था, under which these electoral bonds were bought, and they were meant for individuals and entities to make donations. Any individual, any company जो कि particular party को donate करना चाहता था could utilize these bonds. These are a kind of bonds which are serves as a bearer instrument. एक particular promissory notes रहते हैं. Here you can see this is a picture attached of a electoral bond issued by SBI. So these were the electoral bonds. इससे पहले cash funding आया करती थी political parties को. And the problem with the cash funding was that major chunk of the black money was converted. Cash funding was कोई भी उसका record नहीं हुआ करता था, and a huge cash inflow was done to the political parties, and as a result black money was being diverted for the funding purposes. So this was a major drawback. As a result, government introduced the electoral bonds. So let's talk about the features of electoral bonds. These cannot be issued by anyone. They can only be issued by State Bank of India, the only authorized bank which can issue it. It can be issued in the denomination of 1,000, 10,000, 10 lakh, 1 crore, anything. अपर लिमिट नहीं है, देयर इज नो अपर लिमिट. दैट मीन्स कितने भी अमाउंट की फंडिंग हो सकती है. अर्लियर एक पर्टिकुलर कैप हुआ करता था. कैश डोनेशन पहले अनोनिमस रहती थी. यू डू नॉट नीड टू एनक्लोज हु हैज गिवन इट, बट इफ द अमाउंट वाज मोर देन 20,000, then you have to tell from where the donation was coming. And also there was a provision कि particular company अपने 7.5% of profit से ज़्यादा donation नहीं कर सकती थी. There was a statutory cap, but यहाँ पे कोई cap नहीं है. There is no cap over it, and they are payable to the bearer on the demand and interest free. Now, when any individual or company wants to donate it, they can go to the State Bank of India and they can say that issue an electoral bond in their name, suppose of 10 lakh thousand, and then they pay the money and get the electoral bond issued on their name. Now this name cannot be disclosed. This is a major bone of contention for the electoral bonds. Whenever the political party wants to utilize this fund, they can utilize the fund with this bearer instrument going to the RBI, but there is a particular window of 15 days for the utilization. Okay, they can be purchased by Indian citizens or any entity established in India. Means a company can also give it, and also an particular individual, jointly, singly, both ways. This is valid for a 15 days. 15 days के अंदर they need to be availed. But the thing is, they cannot be issued to any party. एक particular criteria है. There is a eligibility for a political party. Only those political party which are registered with section 29A of the Representation of People Act, and additionally have 1% of the votes in the last general election, Lok Sabha election or state assembly election, or at least 1% of the total votes अगर garner किए हैं, plus the registered political party होगी, then only you can get the electoral bond funding. Otherwise, you are not eligible for the funding under electoral bond. So now let's look into detail what are the various benefits associated with this funding process. And the benefits are enhanced transparency in political party funding. Now, earlier when cash donation was made, कोई भी record नहीं हुआ करता था. From the side of donor also, जो दे रहा था, because their cash might be a black money which was going into the funding process. From that side also opacity was there, and from here also the political party कितना cash आ रहा है and how much cash is utilized was not known. It was all opaque. कोई written record नहीं हुआ करता था. But now because of electoral bond, एक particular channel create हो गया, digitalized records have come into effect, and as a result, we can maintain a whole record of how much money is coming to a particular party and how much money is being utilized. Therefore, it is a recorded funding. Second is accountability in disclosing donation. Now, the political party needs to tell how these funding is being utilized, where this fund is being allocated. This is a criteria. Third is discouragement of cash transactions, because cash transactions often hold no records. That is why this is an added advantage because of the digital records. Next is the preservation of donors' anonymity. This is a major point you need to see, because this is only a point which is a bone of contention. It has both positive implications also and negative. When we talk about the positive implication, now when the election processes are going on, if a particular company gives funding to a particular party and the anonymity is disclosed, and just suppose a company voted for party A, okay, and there were two parties, party A and B, which were in tough competition. Funding came to A, but A lost the elections and B won the elections. Now, अगर anonymity नहीं रखी जाए, so the company X which did the funding, B को पता चल जाएगा, and B might misuse this information and take away all the contracts from that particular company X, saying that you favored a rival party, and another company Y might get favored and get all the government contracts and tenders, and X might be at a disadvantageous position because of the disclosure. So this was the advantage, that the funding is anonymous. The rival political party cannot misuse the data of the donors, and the donors saved from these issues. Next is the challenges. If we talk about the challenges, anonymity is again a challenge. Benefit you have seen, but the challenge here is you do not know as to who is funding. Suppose, again, A and B, two parties contesting election. X donates to A a huge sum of money, but X ki anonymity is not known to us, but it is known to the party. So this might create a way for a problem that is known as crony capitalism. Crony capitalism, where a particular private company is involved in the policy implementation. Yes, policies uske support mein लाई जा रही हैं, because if you have done such a big major funding to a political party which secures majority votes and wins in the election, then that party might follow the principle of quid pro quo, mutual benefit. Mutual benefit mein all the government tenders goes on to that particular party only. So this mutual benefit principle might pave way for crony capitalism, which is again detrimental to our economy. Third is its introduction as a money bill. Now, when this electoral bond scheme was brought into effect, it was labeled as money bill. Now, money bill के संग एक flaw है. Money bill has an overriding power of Lok Sabha. राज्य सभा का उसमें उतना हैंड नहीं रहता है. The amendments introduced by राज्य सभा just recommendatory in nature. As a result, दो houses में से एक particular house had no power over that particular bill. If electoral bonds were that safe, they had no issues with them, कोई opacity नहीं थी, then why it was introduced as a money bill where one whole house did not have the power to control the bill over its passage? Then is Election Commission of India. Now, the Election Commission of India, wo body which conducts fair and free elections throughout the India, has raised its concerns that it would break transparency in political funding and might invite foreign corporate powers. Now, when you do not know as to who the donor is, then any foreign company might also do donations to the political parties, and as a result, a foreign entity might control the Indian elections. Also, this can give rise to shell companies. Yes, shell companies. They are companies जो actual में exist नहीं करती हैं, but only created for the record purposes to show that income is being earned from a particular company. Actually में नहीं होती है. Black money को white money में convert करने के लिए this is majorly done. So a particular shell company might be created, उससे funding कराई जा सकती है. This might create a both big problem, increase in the shell companies as well as political funding by a non-existential company. Then is RBI's objection. Now, not just Election Commission of India, but RBI also raised its concerns that there can be increase in black money circulation and counterfeit currency. RBI was against this anonymity principle and said the same statement about the foreign funding and the counterfeit currency. So we can see that electoral bonds, those solved the problems of the cash funding, but definitely have some loopholes which are misused by the political parties and have created opacity in the election process. And for the same reason, Supreme Court of India has said to get a record of as to who donates it, at least it should be available with the Election Commission of India, and that can be seen and inspected at least by the organizations and by the courts, so that we can see who is actually funding the process. Because we as a people who believe in Indian democratic system are being denied the basic right, the right to information. उनका right to information is being hampered. We do not know कोई party power में आ रही है, who has funded them, who has funded our rival party. We do not know what is the connection between the companies and the parties. So this secret influence needs to be seen, and definitely some provisions are needed which would resolve the loopholes in the electoral bonds and would bring a process which is even better, because every process is ever evolving, be it cash funding, which had certain flaws which were solved by the electoral bonds, and definitely the electoral bonds also has certain loopholes which can be solved with further amendments and processes. So that was all about electoral bonds. Hope you like the video. Do like and comment, and for more such videos, please subscribe to our channel iasorigin. Thank you.